Joining us now is Okpe with stories trending around the world. Ojineka.
Okay, what happened to Jimmy? Happy birthday again. You were trending. Good morning.
Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Biola. How are you?
I'm fine,
Great. Good morning, Rufai.
Morning,
Great. And good morning to you, viewers. Here are some of the stories that are trending across the globe. In the United States, a new book titled Betrayal, The Final Act of the Trump Show, by political journalist Jonathan Karl, reveals that former President Donald Trump, on his last day in office, threatened to leave the GOP to start a new party in an effort to get back at the Republicans who he felt abandoned him. In response, Republican leaders told the former president that if he left, they would stop paying his legal fees and give out for free his email list to candidates. In Yemen, 20-year-old actress and model Intisa Al-Hamidi was sentenced to a 5-year jail term by rebel authorities on Monday after being convicted of indecency. Researchers at Human Rights Watch claim that the sentencing was politically motivated after the model alleged that she was physically and verbally abused after being detained by Houthi forces in February and was made to sign documents while blindfolded. In Niger, outrage in the country after at least 25 children were reported to have been burnt to death after their straw-hut classrooms caught fire on Monday. The fire broke out in the morning as the children took part in school lessons in the country's Maradi region. Authorities are still investigating the cause of the fire. Under sports, lawyers of South African Paralympic champion Oscar Pistorius on Monday says he could be considered for parole after serving half of his sentence for murdering his girlfriend. The athlete shot dead model Reva Steenkamp in the early hours of Valentine's Day in 2013 when he fired 4 times through the door of his bedroom toilet. Pistorius was found guilty of manslaughter in 2014 and sentenced to 6 years, but the conviction was later upgraded to murder with a 13-year jail term. Finally, under entertainment, Afrobeat superstar Chukwuka Ekwene, better known as CK, has earned his first British certified silver plaque following over 200,000 sales of his global hit song, Love Nwantiti. The song, which has become a TikTok anthem, was released in 2019 and made a hit comeback in 2021 after a viral dance challenge took it to the top of many worldwide charts and earned the musician his first Billboard Hot 100 entry. Let's begin what's trending in Nigeria. Reactions are trailing the conviction of Abdulrasheed Maina, a former chairperson of the defunct Pension Reform Task Team, who was sentenced to 8 years in prison on Monday for money laundering offences involving 2 billion naira in pension fund. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission had arraigned Abdulrasheed Maina before Justice Okon Abang on October 25, 2019, on 12 counts of money laundering. He had pled not guilty to the charges and jumped bail twice in the course of the trial. He was recently arrested in Niger Republic, where he had fled to. The EFCC alleged that Maina used fictitious names to open and operate various bank accounts and recruited his relatives that were bankers to operate fake accounts through which illicit funds were channeled. The federal high court judge held that the 2 billion naira Maina stole belonged to pensioners, most of whom have died without reaping the fruits of their labor. Well, according to the judge, an EFCC witness who testified during the trial pointed out that Maina, whose salary as a civil servant was 256,000 naira, could not have legitimately had such money running into billions in his accounts, even if he saved all his salaries for 35 years. Maina was sentenced to various jail terms, ranging from 3 to 8 years, which are to run concurrently. I mean, I guess it's a victory for the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. They have been, battling this trial for, since 2019. But, it just goes to show, how do you steal people's money? Old people. It baffles me all the time. The type of fraud that people commit. This, for me, is sacrilegious.
Well, you would never understand such a thing because you're not a psychopath, frankly. You have to have a few screws missing to be able to do that. And it's sad to say in this country, I hate to say it, 2 billion Naira is a lot of money to steal from people, but we've actually seen worse in this country. You'll recall the case of that gentleman that stole from the police pension fund. He stole 33 billion Naira from that, and he was given a fine of 750K. Can you imagine? It took years for it to now be corrected. Then he was now given 6 years in jail, and then he had to repay 23 billion. And I don't know why he had to repay 23 billion rather than the full 33 billion. So I think Mina's case is, for me, progress, although it doesn't look like it. It's progress because we're having quite a stiff sentence, although I feel that Justice Okon-Abang showed him a lot more mercy than he showed the pensioners. Those the sentences did not have to run concurrently. They could have run consecutively if we really want to be, brutal about things. But he was shown mercy. And it's also interesting to note the point that Mr. Ifeni made earlier about the fact that 2 banks were condemned by the judge for their role in this whole debacle. This is always a problem when we point fingers at public office holders, rightfully, but we always neglect the system that supports that kind of behavior, that enables it. So I think the blame is more than enough to go all the way around here. At EFCC, yes, you were right to congratulate them. We often hear how they go to court and are not able to make their cases stick. So this is a huge coup for them, perhaps why they found it difficult to let go of the convicted Maina as he now is, because you saw there was some kind of exchange between the EFCC officials and the people taking him to the correctional services, and he was there grinning, walking along, grinning as if he was about to enter his wedding reception or something. I found it completely bonkers.
He's been grinning the whole time.
Yeah, there was no, I'd have liked to say a bit of remorse for what you've done. I mean, you can argue that anybody can do something bad, but at least have a conscience, have a heart. I didn't really appreciate, for me, that was the most distasteful part, the fact that he was smiling.
Stealing 2 billion?
Yeah.
Tundu, I'm sure he will be smiling. Anyways, Dr. Abati.
Well, the EFCC has legitimately and correctly claimed this as a major achievement as part of its efforts to check corruption in Nigeria and to ensure that persons who are properly indicted face the full wrath of the law. To your point about the weight of the ruling, well, I thought we were told that, look, it's not really about the weight. It's really the fact of conviction. And, many of these sentences, involving conviction are rely exclusively within the province of the law and the discretion of the judge. So even if you were given a 1-year sentence for a particular offense, it's the fact that the law has taken its course. I think it was unfortunate that there was that altercation, conflict, struggle between the prison officials and the officials of the EFCC. The EFCC does not run a correctional center. If a person has been convicted in a court of competent jurisdiction, the appropriate thing will be for the prison officials to take over. And I think that this case, attracted public interest because twice the accused persons reportedly became a flight risk. And the last time it was when he was now arrested in Niamey, Niger Republic, that he came back. However, I do not think that this is yet the end of the process. Every convicted person who has gone through process is still entitled to the right of appeal. And I would not be surprised if, Abdulrasheed Maina decides to take advantage of that option that is left to him and ask his lawyers to go to the court of appeal. So that's why I think we've not seen the end of it. However, pensioners, are long abused, maltreated category in Nigeria in terms of the reactions that you reported at the beginning. We understand that they are jubilating. That is about pension funds, and it's something that people can be very emotional about. But this is just the first stage in the justice administration system. Abdulrasheed Maina still has, every opportunity to go to a higher court, and then all the evidence again will be considered at that level.
All right, Rufai, your take on this story?
So for me, I think it was an Nigerian singer many years ago called African China, that was his name, that says, when a rich man steals money, you don't see their faces on Crime Fighter, which is a show for police the police show on TV. When a poor man steals money, you see their face and crime fighter. That's just indicative of what has happened here. It is easy to say, yeah, justice has been done. But has it truly been done to the millions of pensioners that died as a result of this process? That only their offense was to work so hard and expect to get their money, but somebody comes, takes all of their money, steals it, and walks away. And the legal system gives them 8 years. He'll probably appeal. At some point, he'll do 8 years, he'll come out. He'll still be a billionaire. But how about those pensioners that their children will never see them again because they died queuing up or doing some biometric verification somewhere just to get money that was never there because Mr. Maina took the money? Those are the people I want us to spare a thought for this morning.
Yep.
And if we truly, as a country, say we have empathy, we should do better for those pensioners because their only offense is to hold the levers of this economy across every sector, from the national railways over the years. The bright spot, the good old days we cherish so much in Nigeria. We forget our these same pensioners that work so hard, toiled sweat and blood for every part of this country. From Niger to Potiskum to Ibadan to everywhere to Onitsha. Only for them, for their money to be taken away by this man. For me, I don't think it's justice.
All right, we'll take another story. Joe Igbokwe, a chieftain of the All Progressives Congress, has accused people of the Southeast of playing ethnic politics. While in a post on his Facebook page, the chieftain, who is also an aide to the governor of Lagos State, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, said people of the Southeast should be working towards connecting to the federal government politically. Otherwise, they'll continue to be onlookers in Nigeria's political sphere. He made the remark while reacting to the ongoing governorship election in Anambra State. Well, his comment has generated some reactions. Let's take a tweet from Malahaji, who wrote, "Has he ever voted in the East? Has APC not won every election since 1999 in Lagos? Do we in the North not play ethnic and religious politics? Every time you castigate your own people, and for how much?" This is the rhetoric with Joe Igbokwe. If you recall, his house was recently burnt in his hometown because a lot of Igbo people are always against him. And what did you call him the other day, Dr. Abati? I recall you gave him a name, Joe Igbokwe, that the Igbos term him as. You must recall. I want that term.
I don't remember. I know he's special advisor
Yes.
drainages to
Yes.
the governor of Lagos
No,
State.
what the Igbo people call him, basically, they say that he sucks up to, the APC, and obviously the APGA is a Igbo political party, and he shouldn't be saying such things. I think it was quite inflammatory what his comment was on Facebook, Tundu Abiola.
Yeah, beyond being inflammatory, I don't quite follow the logic in his thinking. The Southwest at some point was governed by AD, while we had PDP at the center. It's really up to each political party to go and engage. It's not for the people. It's not, the onus is not on the people.
Yeah.
Elections ultimately about who believes in you, who relates to you, who connects with you, and who you're able to mobilize. Those are the general rules. So it's really about engagement. You, APC, you should take that as if I was to Joe Igbokwe as a member of APC, we didn't do enough to connect with the people of Anambra.
Yes, exactly.
So how can we correct that? Not putting the onus on the people. I don't get that logic.
Well, I think the issue here is as follows. Joe Igbokwe is a chieftain of the APC.
APC, yes.
And, he places politics in the Southwest. So before now, he was in AD, he was in ACN, he's now in, the APC. And you have this election taking place in his home state of Anambra. He's from Inewi, by the way. And he's addressing his people to say his people are playing ethnic politics because they are aligning with APGA,
yes,
which is the dominant party in Anambra State. Yeah. So I think it's logical for him to say, look, support my own party, APC. You should have voted for APC. And the line of his comment was the same line that was told by the candidate of the APC in Anambra, that's Senator Andy Uba, who was talking during the campaigns about aligning with the center, and that assumption is not just, this is not the first time we're hearing that. And it has to do with the nature of the Nigerian state. If, the kind of federal system that we run. They thinking that if you are not, aligning with the center, you will lose. Your people will not get the best. So the federal government of Nigeria has now become a space that anybody, any political party can capture. And if, it becomes a victim of that state capture, then, of course, politicians will use it to say, we're better off aligning with the center so that we can have development opportunities. I guess that's where, Joe Igbokwe is coming from. But should that be the case? Is that good for democracy? Aligning with the center, is that how our democracy should turn out? I don't think that the federal government of Nigeria should be so big, so powerful, that if you don't align with the center, then, of course, your state will not get opportunities. And that puts forward again, afresh, a strong argument for restructuring, for a proper federal system, whereby no part of the federation will have to be dependent, and nobody should be forced to align with the center. But what we have seen in Anambra, of course, is different from what Joe Igbokwe is proposing. The people have chosen so far, from the results so far, not to align with the center, with APC coming a distant third after the announcement of results in 20 local governments. But of course, he's entitled to his opinion. Yeah. I've seen quite a number of people abusing him.
Oh my God.
Saying that this is coming, that what he has said is coming straight from the drainage that he's helping to manage in Lagos.
Well, can I just say, there's no need for abuse, but I want to ask you, Cross River, when the governor aligned with the center or Zamfara, has it become El Dorado?
Well, that's a paradox.
It remains to be seen.
I think it's just the inflammatory sentence. I mean, what does it mean that Igbo people will continue to be onlookers? I mean, Rufai, it just doesn't make any sense.
Number one, I don't feel they should abuse Joe Igbokwe. But the truth is, Igbo people are not onlookers. By not aligning to the center, they've developed their area, they've built an airport, they've done a lot for themselves. Like Tunde was saying, those that have aligned to the center, what have we seen from the alignment to the center? At first, politics is local. This aligned to the center, I don't believe in it. It is what works for the people they will vote for. I take you back to the Western region in the 60s. Action Group did a lot for this area, the Southwest. But when Anakitola said, I want to align with the center, and set up his own party, NNDP, what happened? Did anything change? Could he eclipse what Obafemi Awolowo had done with Action Group? No. What happened? In the end, the elections were botched. We had the Wild Wild West. State of emergency was declared. Those series of unfortunate events snowballed into the Civil War. Let people vote their conscience. Anambra people have come out to vote their conscience. You saw what they did. Yeah. They gave them 5,000. I didn't even know that vote buying has increased the price. There's not 10,000 Naira to buy votes. Family, I thought it was less. I think inflation
was 400.
I thought it was 400 or 500. But now 5,000. I think we had a guest that was saying so. In some places 10,000. But the women said no. They were resilient, like the women that came out to protest at the Upper Women Riot in 1929. They reminded me of them. They said, no, we don't want 10,000. Do you know how many pots of soup?
We don't want APC. That's what they said. We don't want APC.
Do you know how many pots of soup? So what it now shows that Nigerians are now wise. It's not all about Diboko Sobe again. It's what the people want that will work for them. So this alignment with center. Who alignment help?
All right, then. We'll take our final story. The story of a 3-year-old girl who was flogged brutally by her teacher, known as Mr. Taiwo, in an elementary school in Ogun State has caught the attention of the state government. A Twitter user who goes by the name Chinaza Egondi raised the alarm and posted a picture of the girl that captured several cane marks on her legs. She said the mother of the 3-year-old noticed the cane marks after she returned from school and that the little girl was running a fever. The mother, Elizabeth Nwocha Ebere, later took to Facebook to call out the school, Adeoye International School, in the Sango area of Ogun State, after the school sent teachers to resolve the issue. She said the teachers, however, left her house angrily without taking responsibility. This is such a sad, sad story. I was so angry when I saw those cane marks. I mean, I can't believe that they do this to little children. I've seen that they do it to older kids, but not a 3-year-old. Apparently, the SSA to the Ogun State governor has reached out to the mother. Hopefully, they'll continue with their investigation. And that teacher, Mr. Taiwo, and the entire school should have a whole revamp on how they relate to young children? Tundu Abiola.
I think it's such a breach of trust. You drop off your child at school and you expect your child to be taught and cared for, and the child is assaulted like this. And it is assault, which is a crime. It's an offense in Nigeria. So I think the mistake that was made here was having the meeting in the mother's home. They should have all met in the police station. The teacher should have been treated like what he is, somebody who has committed a crime under the laws of this country, and he should be prosecuted for that crime. For me, it's very simple. You're supposed to, as a teacher, be in local parentis. That's that doctrine. You're supposed to, take the role of a parent. You're not supposed to abuse the child in this fashion. And there's also a professional standard that as a teacher you have to apply. And this has just not been done here. For me, this is a police matter. It's not a private matter.
Well said, Tundu. Dr. Bati.
Well, the first question I will ask, what type of school was this? It's called Adeoye International School. So if it's an international school, it's probably a proper, school.
That's not
true. So what is a 3-year-old child doing in school as a student? In my time, the age of enrollment was very clear. You see that your hand could, touch the left ear.
Those days are gone.
Or...
Surely you're younger than that generation. Surely, Dr.
Or you were up to 6 years, 6 years old.
School now.
So now sending a 3-year-old to school, that's one question. The second question is that, look, in Nigeria, I thought there was a policy outlawing corporal punishment. In my time, corporal punishment was allowed. In fact, some parents would say, spare the rod and spoil the child. And our parents used to even take us to these wicked teachers, to beat you up if you did anything. But I think that changed. So, it's also a matter of legislation. Maybe we should move from just policy directive to having a proper law to say, look, corporal punishment in schools will amount to the abuse of the rights of the child, will amount to violence against the child. We keep having these cases of parents, reacting emotionally. There have been cases of some parents. We had one case in those days, I think I wrote a piece on it, at the international school here in Lagos. One parent went there and physically rough-handled the teacher.
No, I will do that.
In retaliation.
I will never do that.
No, I
will
will
call the police.
My 3-year-old?
There should be a proper framework for making sure that, some of these teachers do not, beat up children. And who beats up a
3-year-old?
Quick comment quickly before we wrap up.
Dr. Bati, for the fact that they put international in front of these schools, they're not international anything.
It's horrible.
It's another marketing gimmick.
Unfair.
It just shows how appalling the education system is, but something must be done. Oh, do you remember the case of the child from Deeper Life High School?
Yes. I took that story.
That's another case on ground.
Yes.
We can't keep losing children by sending them to school. It is supposed to be a place of comfort and love.
Well said.
We cannot keep losing children.
Well, thank you all for your great
analysis.
Thank you very much. What's Trending. That's all I have on What's Trending today. See you tomorrow.